Was there a definitive moment that woke you up to this?
Yeah, there was. I was working on a place called Hospice, which is a care home where people with cancer go to finish their final days. And I was renovating this whole building for 12 months. And I was seeing people come in to leave this world, brother. And it's fucking painful to see that. And one of the key things that I noticed from talking to these people were like, they were so happy, bro. They were like, they were 3 weeks away from dying. But, you know, I'd ask them questions on the way in and out and just try and add cheerful vibes. And they'd come and comment on my carpentry work and how good it was. And they would ask me, like, you know, what is your dream in this world, and what do you want to do with yourself? And I'd ask them, you know, is there any regrets you have in life? And they'd say things like, oh, you know, I wish I'd travelled, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. And they really inspired me to ask a deeper question. And then I was sat in the van, the transit van, looking at this hospice, watching people, you know, every day I'd see people getting wheeled in on a stretcher. And then 3 weeks later, I'd see that person getting wheeled out in a you know, going to the mortuary, bro. Like, it was that kind of place that I was doing up. And I was sat there, and one of these people that I'd spoken to that had told me about, you know, I got a great rapport with this old geezer, and he just great energy about him. And he was saying to me, like, you know, you really need to travel, you really need to experience the world. You know, my biggest regret is not doing this, my biggest regret is not doing that. He's teaching me so much stuff about life. And I sat there in the van, and I'm watching this guy who watched get wheeled in 3 weeks ago, that I've had a great rapport with, you know, like see him like a grandfather type thing, because I'm speaking to him every day as he's walking past and he's coming to see my work. So watching him getting wheeled out in a mortuary truck, and I'm sat there and looking at this, Charlie, right? And I'm in a transit van. I'm earning £355 a week in the UK. That's got to be taxed, bro. So I'm taking home 290 quid. I'm eating chicken, I'm eating rice, and I'm eating broccoli from a bowl, and I've got to work 10 hours a day. I'm like, something's got to change. So I turned to my friend Alan in the truck, who was a stonemason. And I said, Alan, we can't go on like this, bro. We can't. This is fucked. He says, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to go to Australia, bro. He says, why Australia? I said, because when I go home at night and I turn on that fucking TV stuff and I turn on like Channel 14, I've seen like Bondi Rescue. I've seen Holly Valance on Neighbours. It sounds fucking stupid.
I remember watching that.
But it's like, what did I want in my life? I wanted to be able to access the women that look like Holly Valance. I wanted to be on a beach in the Gold Coast. I wanted to be able to, you know, go to Bondi Beach. I wanted to live that life. And we fucking booked tickets on Philippine Airlines that day. And we didn't have any money, and we went working private jobs at weekends, and we were working the week earning £300, and we were earning £150 a day each, going and doing odd jobs and stuff like that. And I worked as a doorman, and I worked all these extra jobs, and I went and I took it, and I went to Australia with $6,000, a pair of boxing gloves and a pair of boxing boots, and I just went and made it work. And that was it. That was a one-way flight, and just an opportunity and a chance. And it was that guy, I think his name was Jeff, that inspired me to take that action, because he showed me in 3 weeks more than I'd seen in my entire life, because I'd watched him come in, he'd given me the best energy he could, and I'd watched him be wheeled out of the place, bro. And when you see that level of life, and when you see that in front of your fucking eyes, you can't unsee that shit. And what I'm employing every single one of you that listens to this conversation has got to this point to do is just see your life from today through a different lens than what you've seen it for the other fucking 20 odd years. Just a different lens. That's all I'm asking for. Just for fucking, even if it's a half an hour today, just look at life through a different lens and ask yourself the question, am I living up to my fullest potential for my own self? And if that is the case for you, cool, I applaud you, because I want that for you. If it's not the case, okay, cool. The next question is, how are we going to pivot our life so that we're living in full alignment with what we want for our best version of ourselves? That's the next question. Answer that question. If you want an even better way to do it, get a journal out right now, open up the journal, you've got 2 pages, you've got 2 blank pages. On the left side of the page, I want you to write how your actual life is right now and the life that you're living. On this side of the page, I want you to write down your dream life. No one else is seeing this. I want you to write out how you actually want and how you actually envision your life to be. Now, what you'll see is, if you're truly honest with yourself, and this is just between you, yourself, and the journal, what you'll see is that when you write down on this page who you are, and you write down on this page who you want to be, what you'll see clearly articulated in front of you is that there is a gap. And your only goal in your entire fucking life is to close the gap between who you are and who you say you want to be. And that is it. And when you close that gap and you see it for the first time, you see that gap within yourself, you now have the ability for the first time ever in your history to close it in a way that's congruent. And I urge you to find out what that gap is and close it in your life. And do not think for one moment of a second that I don't do this every 2-3 months myself and see the gap that I've got to close, because I do.
I think one of the best things that nobody does is self-reflect. So one of the best things, or another good exercise I actually did last week, was write down like the 3 to 5 things I want in life, and I ask myself why, like 5 times. Like, why do you want to make X amount of money? Like why to that answer? Keep going, and like you suddenly get the answers. Like, that's really interesting, because I think one of the games of life to become the best version of yourself is to actually understand a deeper value of yourself, of who you are, why, and what maybe even triggers you to behave a certain way. Because a lot of it's like internal belief systems and the things you've been exposed to. So like, you might not be where we are if you hadn't got exposed to that guy Jeff you mentioned in hospice. Like, that's also the knock-on consequence you can have in your life, and I can have my life, and even people listen to this, you can change other people's lives by the action and the energy you put out into the world.
Yeah, 100%. I literally just want everyone that listens to this to vibrate at a higher frequency at the end of the conversation than they started the conversation with. Nothing I say here today is meant to trigger you in a negative way. It's meant to trigger you in a way that makes you take action on yourself. I turned up to this conversation with you today because I generally believe that we can make people leave this conversation better than when we found them. And that's what I'm here to do, right? So if I have to say things that polarize you, like if you're earning less than 100k a year in the UK, you're fucked. If I have to say that to trigger you enough to understand the fucking what I'm really saying right now, then I'll do that. Because it's the only way that I know to create a shift in your reality that you're living. And I want that for you. I don't want you to fucking go be working as a real estate agent in the UK, having capped revenues, living with the C-class on the driveway. There is more to life than that. There is more to life than the C-class, the 3-bed house, and, you know, the mortgage. There's more to life than that. Living that life would destroy my soul, and I don't want it to destroy yours, and that's why I'm here.